Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a shortcut to being really well informed about, well, a pretty crucial decade of life, your 20s. We're plunging into the insights from this fantastic Simon and Schuster ebook. It's called Things to Do Before You're 30. The Try It Out, Get It Done, Live It Up list by Jessica Misener. So, our mission for this deep dive, it's really to unpack the most important nuggets of knowledge and maybe some surprising facts from this bucket list. We want to show you how it offers a unique path to making the most of your 20s, gaining valuable experiences and fostering some genuine personal growth. And yeah, we'll definitely try to sprinkle in some humor along the way.
That's right. What's really fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just about ticking off items before a specific birthday or feeling overwhelmed by some massive checklist. It's truly about embracing a mindset for living fully, thoughtfully, in what can be a really pivotal decade. The author herself, she talks about feeling that scary milestone approach, but she reframes that feeling beautifully, which I think, well, many of us can relate to.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this then. The author, she kicks off with a really relatable story, actually, about her own 30th birthday. She found herself in this trendy Brooklyn bar, wearing a red dress, looking great, but just an hour before, she was apparently a nervous wreck, eating mac and cheese, seriously thinking about skipping her own party because turning 30 just felt incredibly scary, not, exciting. But her friends, luckily, made sure she got in that cab, and she ended up having an absolute blast.
Right, so she pushes through that fear. And she says that experience really sums up her biggest lesson from her 20s, how to accept who I am, flaws and all,
Hmm.
which is powerful, definitely. But it does make me wonder, if the ultimate goal is self-acceptance, how does a to-do list really fit into that picture? Does it sort of encourage external achievement over that internal transformation? Or can it be both?
That is a great question because the author's crucial message really is that turning 30 is just a comma, not a period. That's her phrase. She argues you can absolutely bring your unfinished list items into your 30s or even, redo your favorite ones over and over again. It truly pushes back against that idea that there's some kind of hard stop to personal growth or fun for that matter.
Exactly. And the overall ethos of the book becomes pretty clear. Now is the time to figure out being an adult, but it's also the time to live it the heck up. I love that phrase. She says, push back against the boundaries of your own routine. Conquer a phobia. Watch burly German men dance the polka at Oktoberfest. Let go of old grudges between siblings. These are the years of you.
Hmm.
So this blend, this mix of self-acceptance and proactive living, it really does provide a compelling framework for navigating these often uncertain years in adulthood.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Just the sheer variety of ways this list suggests you can broaden your horizons. It's not just about, huge adventures, but also incredibly simple, kind of joyful experiences too, right? The try it out section is just packed with ideas. On one hand, yeah, you have these truly global, maybe once in a lifetime adventures. Imagine watching those burly German men dance the polka at Oktoberfest. She even mentions the mayor taps the first keg, and there are like 30 different tents. Or walking through that 10-foot wide sick in Petra, Jordan before it reveals that gorgeous treasury. Amazing. And how about floating on the Blue Lagoon in Iceland? Those geothermal waters, maybe even getting an in-water massage. What all these experiences seem to share is pushing you outside your comfort zone, definitely, and showing you a new part of the world or a new way of seeing it.
Absolutely. And the beauty here, I think, is that it's about direct engagement. It's not just reading about a place in a book. It's about building this rich tapestry of personal memories, understanding the world through direct, tangible experience. It's a kind of knowledge acquisition that goes way beyond, formal learning in a classroom.
But the author isn't just about globetrotting, which is cool. She also puts this wonderful emphasis on the local and the playful. Like, get this playing hide and seek in an IKEA, apparently with a pro tip to hide near the cinnamon rolls. Or running barefoot through cool summer grass waving sparklers. Or even just catching fireflies on a warm summer night, things maybe we did as kids.
I love that. What these ideas illustrate so well is that expanding your world isn't always about collecting passport stamps, is it? It's about engaging with the magic and wonder that's often right there in front of you, rediscovering that sort of childlike joy that, let's face it, often gets lost in adulthood. It reminds us that sometimes, yeah, the biggest adventures are actually in the smallest moments.
Okay, so let's pivot now into the get it done category. This highlights the practical life skills, personal development stuff that truly empower you. This whole section feels like it's about building competence and confidence for navigating adulthood. Yeah, the book provides some great examples that build that independence, that self-reliance. On the financial and career front, she literally says, do your own taxes. It's really not that bad, which, okay, may be debatable for some, but the point stands. And she emphasizes setting up an emergency fund, aiming for maybe 3 months' salary, using an auto transfer so you don't have to think about it. It also wisely points out the importance of learning how to negotiate your salary. Because, young people often hesitate, but managers actually respect seeing that you value yourself. Oh, and for those maybe just getting started, she advises knowing the difference between an IRA and a Roth IRA. Basically, it's about when you get your tax break on retirement savings, now or later. Important stuff.
And these aren't just isolated tasks, are they? They're really about building foundational confidence. For you, as the learner engaging with this, acquiring these tangible skills and having a baseline of financial literacy, it directly contributes to autonomy.
Mm.
And it helps reduce that anxiety that often comes with, navigating adulthood and just the sheer information overload we all face.
Definitely. And for practical life skills, the list gets even more specific and sometimes pretty fun. She suggests developing a go-to cheap and easy dinner recipe like pasta with broccoli and lemon zest, or maybe a quinoa vegetable bowl, simple wins, or one I personally found interesting, cutting off all your hair, which she describes as truly freeing. Bold. There's also learning how to drive stick shift, maybe making your own natural cleaning products with just baking soda and vinegar, or even baking a pie from scratch, crust and all. That takes dedication. She even suggests taking classes on a handicraft, like woodworking, sewing, or metalwork. Or learning how to knit, even if you just end up with a, lopsided scarf. It's about the process, the stress relief.
It's quite amazing how these seemingly small skills can accumulate into this profound sense of self-sufficiency, isn't it? They empower you to handle challenges, solve problems, maybe even create things with your own hands. I think the broader significance here is that building these kinds of skills gives you a real sense of mastery over your own life, which is a powerful counter to feeling overwhelmed by everything.
Right. Okay, so to round out this deep dive, let's transition to the final aspect, the live it up part. This focuses on enriching relationships, maybe some grand gestures, and making a positive impact. Yeah, this category offers so many ways to nurture connections and give back. In relationships, the author suggests something as simple but lovely as buying cute or funny greeting cards and mailing them to friends randomly. She actually found snail mail helped her cope with distance after moving from New York to California. It shows how that little bit of intentionality can maintain those bonds. She also encourages you to ask your grandparents what they were doing at your age. I mean, what a great way to connect generations, right? And importantly, she stresses forgiving any grudges you might have against your siblings, letting go of resentment through small acts of kindness, or maybe even a direct apology if needed.
Hmm. What's really fascinating here is the emphasis on both the profound and the everyday acts of connection. It's not just about the huge, grand gestures, but also the consistent, thoughtful ways you can engage with others and your community. I think the real takeaway is that true fulfillment in your 20s often comes from those meaningful relationships and maybe contributing to something larger than yourself.
And on the impact and self-expression side, the book encourages you to, say, start a blog about anything, puppies, recipes, travels, whatever you're into, or to volunteer for a cause you believe in, whether it's Meals on Wheels or an animal shelter, something local. And for simple, everyday impact, she suggests things like paying for the order of the person behind you in the drive-thru, or leaving a $5 bill for someone to find. It's really about being mindful and intentionally spreading a little kindness, which feels more important than ever.
These are really powerful applications of all the knowledge and experiences you might gain during this decade. It suggests that while the 20s are absolutely about personal growth, they're also about finding your place in the world and maybe trying to make it just a little bit better. It reminds you that impact doesn't always have to be monumental. It can absolutely be in the quiet, daily acts of generosity and connection.
So, as you can probably hear, this deep dive into things to do before you're 30 really does provide a rich framework for making the most of your 20s. It really reiterates that idea that turning 30 is, as the author puts it, just a comma, definitely not a period. It's all about the journey. And maybe as a final provocative thought for you, something that comes through repeatedly in the book is that much of the pressure we tend to feel in our 20s, it's often self-imposed or maybe based on how we think others perceive us.
Exactly. The author encourages you to really consider that you don't owe anyone your time, and it's okay to take a night off from your social life. That's a big one. And maybe most importantly, the kind of liberating truth that, well, no one is really thinking about me that much at all because, frankly, people are mostly busy focusing on their own lives. Which really makes me wonder, for you listening, How does truly letting go of that external comparison, embracing your own authentic path, allow you to genuinely live it the heck up? How does it let you appreciate everything you've learned and done, even if your list feels incomplete? It kind of frees you up to define success entirely on your own terms, doesn't it?